Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review on something which is fairly new, and it is the brand new Master Sculpt from Maybelline. This is basically their contouring palette, and the shade that I've got mine in is number 2 medium dark. It comes in 2 shades, light medium and medium dark. I think the light medium one has been promoted by Molly King, and the dark one has just not been promoted by anybody. Anyway, so I've had this about 2 weeks now, and I've pretty much used it every day since I got it. At the moment it's $6.99. That might be an introductory price, it might change, not sure. Anyway, it comes in like a standard kind of plasticky, typical drugstore kind of packaging. And then you open it up, and then there is the contouring shade here and the highlight there, and then you lift it up. Underneath there is a mirror, and then there is a brush. Now the brush, to be honest, I've not used it. It's your standard kind of free brush, which is not that great. It's very quite stiff and quite rough, and I prefer to use contouring. I use quite a softish, sort of more angled brush. So we'll just leave that in there, but it's always good, I suppose, to have for emergencies, just in case you haven't got your brush on you or whatever. Anyway, so the way that it looks is like this. So you can see it still says contour there and highlighter on that one. Now, as I said, I've used the contouring shade almost every day since I bought it. I used it in my last tutorial, last 1 or 2 tutorials as well. And I have been using it daily. Now, this one is very cool toned, whereas from what I've seen when I was in Boots, where I bought it from, the lighter one is more warm toned, which is really weird, but then it's obviously too light for my skin tone. For reference, I am in MAC and NC40, and in Maybelline I use the Fit Me foundation in the shade 220. And yeah, so this one is a very cool toned kind of taupey greyish brown, so it is the perfect kind of shade for your typical contouring. And when I say typical contouring, I don't mean warming up your face, I mean actually defining, chiseling and creating dimension and shape and shadows. That is what contouring is normally meant to be like, and it's normally meant to be with more cool toned greyish brown shades. But the way of the world is that we tend to use more warm toned ones because we naturally assume that that is how it's supposed to be. So, you know, I suppose it's an each to their own sort of thing. So I was kind of happy to see that they had kind of bucked the trend and gone with a more cool toned one. But it is annoying that there isn't the equivalent for medium to dark skin tones in warm, and then vice versa. Let me just swatch it for you. See, it is a little bit powdery. It is fairly pigmented, and it picks up quite a bit on my finger. I did swatch that about 3-4 times, to be fair. And that is how it shows up on my hand. Now, I have read a couple of reviews online. Quite a few people are kind of on the fence. Then there's the usual reviews, which is just, here's the product, here's the colour, and that's it. They're not actually giving any kind of opinion. I don't even think they know how to use it properly. But to me, I think it's a fairly decent product for a drugstore contouring palette. It's inexpensive. $6.99 is not a lot. I do think the sleek one personally is a lot better, a lot more pigmented. It is not difficult to use in terms of how the brush picks it up. My brush tends to pick it up quite well. I use a Sigma large angled brush. And it's not difficult, it's not kind of stiff. I find it quite easy to apply. I just don't find the shade dark enough. I find that if I apply too much of it, then I can look a bit too grey. So that's a bit of the problem, is that I have to go in quite light-handed. When I did my makeup tutorial, I think it was last week, I used this to set my cream contour, the the Smashbox Contour Trio. I use this to set it. So to set contouring is absolutely amazing, but it's not something where you can get a full-on contour with. I definitely think it's something that would be ideal for people to have as like a day-to-day kind of contouring shade. And if you're new to contouring and you are scared that you might go overboard, I think this will definitely be for you. So when it comes to contouring, what you're supposed to do, fuck in your cheeks, make the face, and then you're meant to run it up and down from your bone up here to about here. and then you brush it backwards and forwards, and then it creates the illusion of cheekbones. So I think you can maybe see mine slightly. And then you can contour around your nose if you choose to, around your forehead, around here if you've got any double chin thing going on or anything like that. And yeah, so in terms of the contour, I think it's not that bad. I think that sometimes people expect a little bit too much from drugstore brands. Not that I'm saying that drugstore brands should all be amazing or they should all be really, really crap. Sometimes you get really, really good products, sometimes not so much. But this one I definitely think is okay. I don't think it's amazing, but I don't think it's crap either. And then the highlight shade. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've only used the highlight shade once. It is quite small, so it's very difficult for my brush to actually fit in there. So let me just quickly show you how it looks. See, the highlighting shade is quite pigmented, but it's quite a subtle highlighter. It's not too shimmery, but then again, it's also not too subtle either. So you've got a nice balance. And you can see how it compares to this contouring shade, which is matte. Because as I've mentioned 100 times before, contouring should always be with a matte product, never shimmer. Because you'll actually accentuate that area as opposed to kind of hiding it and shaping your face. So yeah, so I think overall I would give this product a 7 out of 10. I do think it's really good. I think if you're a beginner to makeup, you should definitely invest in this before you move on to more high-end products like Anastasia Beverly Hills or the Kat Von D one, or cream products as well. You should definitely try this out. I think it's definitely great for the more budget-friendly end of the market. I think it would be better off if they released a couple more shades as well. And I know that some people from the reviews that I read, they thought it was quite stiff, quite difficult to pick up. I actually don't find that myself. Maybe it's the brush that I'm using, maybe it's the way that I'm applying it, I don't know. It does kick up a little bit of powder, but not too much powder. The normal amount of powder you would expect to kick up with something which is a powder product. So yeah, so that's it for the Maybelline Master Sculpt. And like I said, my shade is in medium dark. I think it's pretty good. I think it's worth looking into. If you're in the market for something new and you want to try something new, by all means, try it out in store. Test it, swatch it, just to make sure maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't like it. I am mid-tone in skin. I think that if you are a lot darker than me, going more towards the deeper black skin tones, this won't work for you. It'll make you look ashy and it won't contour your face. It'll just look like you've got dirt on your face or something like that, which I think is slightly unfair that, or not even slightly unfair, quite unfair, that this only caters towards a certain end of the skin spectrum. So I think Maybelline really need to kind of look into that a little bit more, maybe expand the range slightly. Yeah, so if you've got any more questions, feel free to ask me below. Other than that, hope you're having a lovely day and I'll see you all in the next video.